Welcome back. It is still Wednesday, January 20th, 2016. This is still the morning edition on I-24 News, and thank you for staying with us. Next story is one that actually Israel or Israelis know very well. Now, we're going to go see a play, actually, so they say, in the theater, right here in Jaffa, and not just any play. Many people knew Alan Rickman, and Alan Rickman sadly also died last Thursday at the age of 69. From his iconic Hollywood roles in the Die Hard and Harry Potter series, that's the way we know Alan Rickman. But Rickman's talents were not limited to the big screen. In 2005, he edited and directed the Edinburgh Festival play My Name is Rachel Corrie, based on the diaries and emails of a 24-year-old American activist who was killed by an armored bulldozer operated by the Israeli Defense Forces while protesting against the destruction of a house in the Gaza Strip. Rickman has won numerous prizes for his work on that play and stated his wish for the play to be produced in Israel during many of his interviews at the time. And in 2013, he got what he wanted. The acclaimed monodrama got a Hebrew adaptation, winning prizes and great reviews, but also encountering efforts to censor and delegitimize the play. It is still going strong, though, here in the Jaffa Theater, not far from our studios and where we sit right now. And I'm very happy to be joined in studio by Ari Remez, the director of the Israeli adaptation of My Name is Rachel Corrie. Good morning to you, and thank you for being with us. And actress Sivan Kreshner, sorry, I'm not going to butcher your name. Good morning to you as well, who's with us in studio, plays the challenging title role. But to make sense of it and to actually set the scene for what has been very controversial in Israel, let's take a look at the trailer of the British, actually of the European version of My Name is Rachel Corrie. Break it down from there.
We are all born, and someday we'll all die. Most likely to some degree alone. What if our aloneness isn't a tragedy? What if our aloneness allows us to speak the truth without being afraid? What if our aloneness allows us to adventure, to experience the world as a dynamic presence, as a changeable, interactive thing? I can't cool boiling water in Russia. I can't be Picasso. I can't be Jesus. I can't save the planet single-handedly. But I can help.
My Name is Rachel Corrie, a play that Alan Rickman, a monodrama that he, honchoed in many ways, but I am, as you're the director of the Israeli version. Rachel Corrie, as we said, not many Israelis like discussing the story of Rachel Corrie. First of all, for Israeli audiences, when the play comes up, what is the reaction?
Well, we've experienced many different reactions by mixed audiences from all kinds of backgrounds and political views, and we were surprised to see that most of the people who come and see the play are surprised themselves that they're not experiencing a confrontation with someone who's against them, but rather someone who's trying to really understand what is happening here. And I think this is the most exciting experience for me, to see even people from the right wing coming to see the show and prepared for a confrontation and fight, and then suddenly say, wait, she might be not that such a bad person.
She might be. She might be not that demonized. Just to make sense of all of this, because around the world, I think it's well known that Rachel Corrie is considered one of the a human rights activists. She is kind of the bearer, the honcho of that image. And playing her, I'm asking you first, because first of all, getting into her shoes and learning about her, what did you learn?
Well, I learned a little bit about courage, about how it is to follow your heart and do something about something that you think
not just put a status on Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay.
She was very specific, and I think that she wasn't calling herself an activist. She was just being an activist since she was 10 years old. Even before she knew what activism is, it was in her blood.
What is her life story? Remind us, because I'm sure you've researched it in order to get into the play.
She was always seeking for the different path in life, for her path in life. She went to a different college. She was always seeking for what's right in this life and not what's common. And obvious.
And obvious in that respect. To try and, I think we, to try and get into her character, not just, dissecting it, but before we continue, we have also, and we have clips from the play in Israel. Let's see the version of it in Hebrew with subtitles, no worries, break and continue from there.
היום כשהלכתי על ההריסות, חיילים מצרים צעקו לי מהצד השני של הגבול, לכי, לכי, בגלל שהתקרב טנק. ואז הם קראו לי ושאלו, איך קוראים לך? יש משהו מפחיד בסקרנות הידידותית הזאת. במידה כזאת או אחרת, כולנו ילדים שסקרנים לגבי ילדים אחרים. ילדים מצרים שצועקים לעבר אישה מוזרה שנודדת לכיוון הטנקים, ילדים פלסטינים שנורים על ידי הטנקים כשהם מציצים מאחורי קירות בשביל לראות מה קורה, ילדים מכל העולם עומדים עם בנרים מול הטנקים, ילדים ישראלים בתוך הטנקים. לפעמים צועקים, לפעמים מנופפים לשלום. על רובם נכפה להיות כאן. אחרים פשוט אגרסיביים, יורים לתוך בתים ונשארים אנונימיים בזמן שאנחנו מתרחקים משם. ואין אף מקום חסין ממסוקי האפאצ'י ומהמצלמות הבלתי נראות של המזל"טים שמזמזמות מעל שמי העיר לכמה שעות כל פעם.
I got to ask you as director, first of all, those are hard scenes, I think, for Israeli audience to watch, I am sure. But, let's go to Alan Rickman first. Why was he interested in this story?
Well, Alan Rickman just read a couple of notes from her diary and emails that were published in the Guardian,
right.
And he felt, much like Sivan felt when she approached me with the idea of showing the play, that these are words that should be heard in public and should be put on stage, and audiences must hear these words and not only just pass the page on the paper. And when Sivan approached me with the play, I first of all, I asked her, why do you want to do this? And she said, well, she said naively, just like Rachel Corrie, I think these are important words that should be heard.
How very, very naive that they... But you had a chance to also work a little bit with Rickman, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Not at all, sadly.
Not at all.
Okay. My mistake, but I'm sure, his words are in that play entirely. And I'm going to ask you the same question that Ari asked you. Other than, these are important words to be heard, why did you want to do this?
Well, at the time, it was just the right thing to do, right. Because I'm not an activist myself, unfortunately, but I'm an actress, so I can use my skills to do what I can do, what I know how to do. And now when all of the discussion around Shovrim Shtika is
breaking the silence, yeah.
Breaking the silence, and the fact that people are asking if it's right to take the criticism outside Israel, or the debate is either leave it inside the country and criticize ourselves, or to go out to the world and talk about it.
Or to quote the detractors, wash the dirty laundry out there.
Exactly. But this play is exactly the example of how we leave, the criticism among us.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the legitimate side for the people who doesn't want breaking the silence to be active.
To be active.
So I cannot understand how this is not legitimate and breaking the silence is not any kind of criticism is wrong.
I'm glad you raised that issue because, and I'll ask you first. Putting a play as such in the current political environment in Israel, where there are things where people feel there are things that can be said and cannot be said, be it on the right or on the left. But with the culture ministry actually saying that plays that go against or counter the Israeli narrative should not be put on. Did you encounter problems with that?
Oh, definitely.
Do tell us.
First about breaking the silence and this whole international issue about laundry outside and so on. It seems to me that there's a misunderstanding that with the use of the term internal affairs of Israel, the occupation and the human rights issues in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip are not an internal affair of Israel. This is something that is and very justly so an international issue. And I think when you come and see the play, it's an opportunity to understand the motivations of someone who is interested in something that is happening far away from your home and why this is something that is a universal issue. It's a bit ridiculous the way that it has been treated by the Ministry of Culture and nowadays and earlier by members of Parliament and from the municipality of Jerusalem that try to censor the play by defunding theaters who hosted the show.
The play.
And the ridiculous part of it is trying to say that a theatrical play can be regarded as incitement. Rachel Corrie in the play is a dramatic person who speaks on stage and says her feelings and ideas. This is a portrayal of a dramatic personality on stage. How can this be incitement? It can be an intriguing and a difficult confrontation to listen to these ideas. But the fear from listening to somebody else's ideas is something that seems to me a weakness of the Israeli narrative, not a strength.
And counterintuitive to democracy, some people may argue in many, many ways. I want us to take a look at another clip actually from the play itself where you see play Rachel Corrie. Just so we see, her thoughts and views, because this should be in honor of her in many, many ways, and these are her words. Let's take a look at the last one.
הערות מההכשרה. בזמן שיחה, בלי שמות. להתקשר לבדוק עם בתי חולים ומקורות מידע רשמיים. להשתמש בציטוטים. לא להיראות שיפוטיים לטוב או לרע. אי אלימות. לא לגעת באנשים שאיתם אנחנו מתעמתים. לא לברוח, לא לשאת שום דבר שיכול לשמש כמו כלי נשק, לא ליזום שום פעולה על דעת עצמו.
Sivan, did you have a chance to speak to anybody of her family?
They came to see the play.
Okay.
I was struggling the whole time because it's her diary and her letters to her mom and to her dad, and
are the basis of the play.
Yeah. She communicates with her parents most of the time, or when she writes to her diary, she speaks about them and her relationship with them. And as I was playing, I was looking up and I just saw their face, and it was so hard for me to play their
dead daughter.
Their dead daughter. And by the way, he said in one of his interviews that he has many foster daughters. Exactly. Now that around the world,
the play is playing, let's listen to Rachel Corrie's father, because we have a little bit of him reacting.
You have a little feel for what we lost, and when that happens to a family, you want answers. You want to know how it could happen. You want accountability for how it happened. And the day after Rachel was killed, Prime Minister Sharon promised President Bush a thorough, credible, and transparent investigation into the killing of our daughter. And it's not just our family's opinion, but it's even still the position of the U.S. government that did not happen. We can't give up at this step. We have to say that was wrong. And I hope that the High Court will reverse this real impunity that they grant to the Israeli Defense Force. But if that doesn't happen, then I hope that we can at least bring it out in the open. What doesn't.
Important to note that, yes, on the part of the family of Rachel Corrie, a full investigation has never really been carried out, according to them, by the Israeli Defense Forces as to the death of their daughter by an IDF bulldozer. Now, the play is in the Jaffa Theater, and if you're in and around the Middle East on the 30th of January at 9 p.m. at Jaffa Theater, that's where we're sitting right now, you should really, really take a look at it. When it comes, and finally, I just want to ask you, when it comes to Rachel Corrie, what do you think, or, in this day and age, what is the final message that Israelis, because it's hard for them to discuss this, so Israelis should know about Rachel Corrie?
There is hope.
There's hope.
It's not over yet.
No, no, I'm not. No, from my old age of lack of optimism, because the news shows out of the Middle East are so depressing. It's good to hear something like that. Yes.
If I can add to it, I think that the most important message is always seek the truth yourself and do not rely on things that people tell you or things that you seem that are. Just seek for the truth yourself.
Seek the truth for yourself. Very important words. The play, as we said, my name is Rachel Corrie, playing at the Jaffa Theater. Go check it out, an important play. When we get back, something entirely different, sports and scandals in sports, and namely tennis. Another part of that genre, so to speak, that is also tainted by corruption. We'll take a closer look. Stay with us. First, the news.